Just waiting to get everything set up. Make sure I'm here. Hi. Oops, let me move this. Am I live here? I don't want to learn more. Okay, great. Hi, everyone. Jody Bentley here, actor. Oops. 1 second. Okay, I'm going to put this here. Let me make sure that I am live here. I'll be right with you. Hold the phone. Why does Facebook always do this? There we are. Okay. Oh, it looks like it's paused. Why is that? Oh my God. All right. Well, we're going. It says we're going. Okay. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Hi. Hi, Emmanuel. Hi, Casimir. Hi, Matthew. Okay. Whoops. Let me clear that. Hi, everybody. I'm Jody Bentley, actor, producer, CEO of Actor Insider and the Actor's Office. Oh, I do need to say writer now because I now am an award-winning screenwriter, which is crazy to me, but yes, I get to add writer to my title. But hi, everybody. I go live on the first Friday of every month. So here we are on July 3rd, right before our holiday weekend. Why do I do this? Because I want to answer any and all questions that you have about your acting career, about the business in general, about what is going on, any advice that you need in order to move forward. I have been a career coach for actors since 2008. I built one of the first branding systems for actors. I've taught at 5 different universities, building their business of acting program. I've been doing this a long time and I love it. And I want to give back to you to support you and answer any questions that you have. And look, we all need coaches. We all need mentors. And sometimes you don't know where to turn. So that's also why I do this, and if you are looking to take this kind of work more deeply, DM me, email me. We can figure out the best way for you to move forward to really feel in control of your acting career. Because I think you don't feel in control is when we just feel shitty. Let's be real. So it really is about being in control, focusing on what you can control, and every day taking those steps to move forward. So hi, Improv Thoughts. Hi, Ziggy. All right, so I am live everywhere. I always have some problem with some tech, and I think we're doing okay today. Woohoo! Okay, great. I'm not gonna refresh anything there. We're just gonna keep it. Okay, so I want to hear from you. I want to know what's going on. How are you feeling? What's happening? I'm sensing some patterns in how people are feeling right now. I'm sensing a lot of the same things coming up for people. But I want to know how you're feeling in your business right now. We are halfway through 2026. Like I don't even know how to respond to that. Do you know what I mean? It's July 3rd. We're halfway through. So where are you in your plan? Did you have a plan this year, right? Where was your quarterly plan for the end of July? Did you hit that? Did you fall short from that? Where do you need to pick up the ball? What do you feel is missing? These are the questions that I want to help you with. These are the questions I want to answer. Matthew says, I'm very serious about acting for film. I love it. So Matthew, my counter question to you, not a counter question because you said a statement. Yes, exactly, Tony. Happy Q3. So many things happening in Q3. So Matthew, I love that you say you're serious about acting for film. So what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you taking action on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to move the needle on your acting career in film? What are you doing? So these are the kind of questions we need to ask. If you want to talk that out, let me know. I see I have a question here on YouTube, so I'm going to go there first. And for those of you just tuning in, I just want to say hi, I'm Jody Bentley. I'm an actor, producer, writer, CEO of Actor Insider, and CEO of the Actor's Office, going live to answer any and all questions you have about your acting business. So Emmanuel says, do you think, Emmanuel, you always come with the big ones. Big questions. Do you think it's unfair and an overreach when actors call casting directors lazy if they feel as if they're not getting seen or if they don't get feedback from self-tapes? What a great freaking question. Let me process this one for a second. Do you think it's unfair and an overreach when actors call casting directors lazy? I do think it's unfair. I think it's unfair because a few things. Oh my God, I have like 50 things I want to say. Um, so first of all, I've been interviewing casting directors, directors, producers for my second annual summit, The Shortlist. Okay. That summit's coming up in August. We have our wait list is open now to be first to know. We have 2 free gifts. And when you get on the wait list, and that is going to be 18 industry guests talking about the industry right now, right? And how to move the needle right now. And I got to tell you, Emmanuel, the conversations I've had with these casting directors, and I'm also producing a $1.7 million feature film right now. And I've been having multiple conversations with my casting directors on this project. And for the first time, like from a producer level, I got to see what they do. And oh my God, it's a lot. I don't think we think, oh, they're lazy now because they're not putting me on tape and they're not giving me direction. But do you know how much work they do behind the scenes to curate those tapes, to send them to producers? They do all the contracts with agents, right? They're the go-between with the negotiations. Like they do so much that as actors, we have no idea. So I think it is unfair. I think the industry has shifted. And we've known this, we've seen this. I mean, even pre COVID, I've been doing self tape since 2018. It's not like COVID, it made self tapes. They were already happening. The industry was kind of already going in that way because of the digital tools at our disposal. COVID pushed that along. And I think we're still holding on to, oh, I want to be in the room. Of course you want to be in the room. There's nothing like going out. It's like going out to coffee or a cocktail with your bestie or sitting with them on Zoom. It's different. I get it. But it's how things have changed. Tony says, if I can be bold, I think we're, as actors as a whole, are very quick to villainize CDs. I agree. I think it is, I do think it is very unfair to call them lazy. They, budgets have shrunk all across the board. That's why we're seeing less projects right now. So casting directors are making less money. They have less resources to work with from producers that are hiring them. And again, there's so much that happens behind the scenes. Like all of these casting directors I'm talking to, it's like they're so busy. And yes, I get that you're not getting feedback. That's not their job. That's not their job. You know whose job that should be? Your manager. Your manager should be watching those tapes and going, hey, you know what? I need you to do another take. Or, hey, I like this, but could you tweak this? Right? That's not the casting director's job. Casting directors were never acting coaches. They were trying to pull something out of you in the room to support you. Yes. But that's why now the instructions on self tapes are so freaking long because they're really trying to help. But at the end of the day, it comes down to, I mean, I've gotten, pinned and called back for projects and they've asked me to go in a different direction. Cause at the end of the day, if even on a self tape, if you're not giving them maybe how they thought it should go, there was something about you that they loved. So stop thinking about, oh, if I only had direction, I would get a pin or a callback. That's not true. That's not true. You could be off the mark, but they go, but she has something and I know I can direct her. That's where this trust is coming in. That's why we need to build trust with these casting directors. You need to do good work every time because if they trust you, they're going to keep calling you in. They're going to you're going to get direct offers. Things will happen. But I think I agree with Tony 1,000%. I think that word is correct. We're very quick to villainize the casting directors now. But you got to look at the industry as a whole and you have to look at their job description as a whole. Let me know if anyone has any. Why can't I scroll? Here we go. If anyone has any other thoughts on that or questions on that. But I do think we're very quick to raise our our fists to casting because we're not back in the room. Casting's not making that decision. The budgets are making that decision. If a producer came in or a studio came in and was like, hey, we have a $12 million film and we want you to go in the room and here's your budget to do that, they would do it. So it's not that casting, and I'm trying to villainize producers either. I am one. But they got to think from a budget perspective. So I think we got to, as actors, look at the totality of the industry more and stop putting our blinders on and thinking about how this just affects me. Because if you can look at the whole, It's going to help you feel a lot better. And if you are still thinking it's unfair and all of that, I really urge you and invite you to reframe that, because you're only hurting yourself now. You are only hurting yourself. Because even if we all stand up and go, get back in the room, if they don't have the budgets for it, it's not going to happen. And they are going back in the room with callbacks sometimes. There with chemistry reads, like there's situations, but every project is different. Every project has a different budget. Every casting office is going to run their office differently based on their workload and what they get to do. So I think we got to just understand that we're all in this together, right? And stop pinning one of us against the other, because it's not serving. And again, I can't wait for you all to hear the interviews from these casting directors, because you really get to hear what is actually going on, what they're actually doing, and what they're feeling about the industry right now, and what actors need to do to get seen, be more visible, and create more opportunities, or stand out on those self tapes. Like, we talk about all of it. So I just invite everyone to think of our industry as a place of collaboration, not competition. Even collaboration with your fellow actors, right? I'm not in competition with the other brown haired, blue eyed women in my age bracket. I'm in competition with myself. I'm in collaboration with them. And it's me and my mindset that's going to throw me off my game. Because at the end of the day, I'm not in charge if I get booked. It's not me against that other actor. It's whoever fulfilled their view and vibe and essence of that role, you know? So I think we need to focus more on collaborating and less on complaining. I'm going to put that on a t-shirt. More on collaborating, less on complaining. Let me know what you think. All right, let me see what else has been going on. Casimir says, hold on, let me scroll back. Hi, Elsa. Hi, Maximus. I'm thinking about going to school like AMDA or NIFA. Casimir says, go for it. I didn't go to school for it, but I get my certificate from NIFA for film and TV, and it was worth it. I've started, Matthew says, I've started screenwriting a movie franchise. Amazing. I'm going to write it, produce it, and star in it. So they can get more screen. I know Casimir says, I know everyone wants to make it to the big leagues, but that's why it's always good to look at your local theaters so you can get more screen time. And then Tony says, zero competition. Yep. I know you agree, Tony. Yeah, look, what I love that you're saying, Matthew, is you are taking control. You are writing something. That's what I did. I wrote my feature film. We are now deep in development. I just attached 2 name actors. I can't say yet who they are. But that was, that this was been a few years in the making of writing it and getting it done. So, I think it is about taking control, writing our own stuff, producing it. One thing I'll say to you, Matthew, educate yourself on what it takes to produce. Educate yourself on film finance, educate yourself on sales agents, distribution contracts, minimum guarantees, pre-sales, budgeting, investors. Educate yourself. I educated myself for a while to know how to talk to investors and do all of that. So, because you're talking about a movie franchise, if you're talking about a movie franchise, you're talking about a big budget, which is going to be even way bigger than my 1.7. So you need to understand how the industry works inside and out, what sales agents are looking for, what distribution's looking for, how to package a project. So if you're doing it at that level, I really encourage you to educate yourself on the world of film finance and film development for sure. All right, let me look on. Okay, let me just do this. I don't see any questions coming through on the Facebook. I see a couple more on YouTube, so give me a second, you guys. But again, for those of you just tuning in, hi, I'm Jody Bentley. I'm an actor, producer, writer, CEO of Actor Insider, the Actor's Office. Okay, I don't see anything there. And I'm here to answer any questions that you have about your acting career. So let's see. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Matthew. And look, I will say, hi, Lorig the first. Hello. Lori, not Lorig, is Lori G. Hi, Lori. I like Lorig. I'm going to call you Lorig for now. Now I lost my train of thought because I made myself giggle. What the hell was I saying? It was something for Matthew. Oh, the summit that I'm doing. By the way, you can go to Well, I think we've been putting it all over my Instagram. So if you go on Instagram at Actor Insider, you can sign up for the wait list for the summit. I can't wait for you to hear these conversations. And so many of them, we're talking about creating your own work. And we talk about the resistance against that, that actors feel against that. We talk a lot how to break through that. Moving forward, what does that mean? So I really do, again, invite you to sign up for the Shortlist Summit. It's totally free. You can get on the wait list now. I give you 2 free gifts. So yeah, you can go to my Actor Insider Instagram, or I think we have posted it on our Facebook group, the Actor Insider community as well. All right, so let me know what questions are coming up for you. All right, let me go back here to YouTube. Emmanuel, casting, I think we're talking about casting directors. They get thousands of submissions per role. They have tons of agents to choose from. To make things easier for themselves, they choose a small list of go-to agents to avoid wasting time. Actually, that's you projecting what you heard one casting director say onto all of them. So first of all, that is not true. I know multiple casting directors, and well, some of them, if they're crunch time and they go, hey, I'm just going to see who these 3 agents submitted for me. Yeah, they're probably going to do that. Does everybody do that? No, not at all. That's a blanket myth that I want to debunk for casting directors. I've talked to multiple casting directors. They get 2,000 submissions and they scroll on through every single one. But again, hear that. Don't villainize the casting director. Hear that. If the ones that are scrolling through 2,000 submissions, I had some of them telling me that now they're getting upwards of 4,000 submissions because there's not as many projects and the competition is more and more and more and more. Now, I'm not saying that to make you freak out. I'm just saying that because it's a reality. So what do you do about it? So if the casting directors who are scrolling through 2,000 submissions, that means you're in the mix of that. How are you standing out? And no, I don't mean standing out for the sake of standing out with a weird hat and a funky background or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about not just having the pretty picture that looks like everybody else, or the generic business shot, or the generic mom shot, or the generic girl next door shot. That shit doesn't work. They're going to scroll right past that. So how do you stand out? This is why I've been preaching the power of branding that businesses have been doing forever. Been preaching that since 2008 for actors, because you got to know and you've got to learn who you are, what your essence is. Call it vibe, call it niche, call it whatever the hell you want if brand makes you mad. But you got to know what your brand is, and you got to package it well. So the industry, when they're scrolling and they see your little thumbnail picture, they go, that's the vibe I need for this role. That's the essence I need for this role. Not a pretty picture with you in a generic tank top because you're trying to be all things to all people. So that's what's in your control. So again, Emmanuel, I love your asking these questions, and I'm not, focusing this on you. I'm just speaking in general, right? It's so easy to go, oh, but they do this. Oh, but they do this. Oh, but they're probably just looking at a certain agency's things. Oh, they're probably just doing this. Woe is me. That's a victim mentality. Stop it with the victim mentality. And look, I get it. I catch myself when I go there. I'm not above that. We all fall prey to that. Okay. The question is, what do you do about it? If I'm like, oh man, I'm not getting that opportunity. Okay. Well, why? What could I do about it? Do I know anyone on that project? Can I email my manager? Okay. I don't have anything that will show this production that I can do this role. Let me put something on tape that can show them I can do it. How are you being proactive? And do you know your brand? Are your materials really reflecting that? So your essence is popping through. And do you have the sales tools that your agents and managers need to actually pitch and sell you to the industry? All of that you are in control of. What you are not in control of is worrying about how the casting director is running your business. What you are not in control of is worrying if your agent submitted you for something. You've hired them. You've partnered with them. I hope you trust them. If you don't trust them, get out of the relationship. So I really want you to focus on what you can control, not worrying about what everybody else is doing. Because number one, that's knocking your nervous system off track and off kilter. And number two, you're putting all the power of your career out there. And all that does is keep you right here where you are. So if you want to move past where you are, stop putting the blame and playing victim to what's out there, start paying attention to what's going on inside, and really focus on what you can control. And if you're sitting there right now thinking, well, Jody, what can I control? I can't control if I'm getting called in. I can't control if I book something. No, you can't control if you book something, but you can control if you get called in. That comes down to your sales tools. That comes down to the knowledge of who you are. That comes down to how well you pitch yourself, market yourself, sell yourself, how you onboard team members. How many team members do you have? Tony says pros and cons of having multiple agents. Example, one in every region versus a bigger agent who reps in all major markets. Specific to me, you know me. I know, I love it. I think it is a good idea to have multiple agents. I really do. Because that way you're being targeted in multiple ways, more so now than ever. I just had a client of mine who lives in the States sign with a UK agent. We talked it out. She's like, I think I want to add this to my team. I was like, I haven't had a client from the States sign out there yet without having a visa. Let's figure this out. We wrote a pitch email. We did it all. She signed with a UK agent. Super smart for her. Why? So much shit is shooting there. Right. That's why I have a Southeast agent. It's why, I've been submitting to Boston agents because I could be Boston local. Right. I need to get back on that campaign as I say that out loud. I think I only sent a couple emails. So I think it's really important to be repped in multiple markets. My manager has a stronghold in Texas and they're building up a bunch of things. So I think it's really important. Bernie. Hi, Bernie. Bernie says, what is the best way to get an LA agent if I live in the San Francisco Bay Area? I have multiple clients who live in San Francisco. All of them have LA agents. So the best way is to really do what I said, is understand who you are. Understand what it is you sell, your essence, your niche, your vibe, whatever it may be. Understand all of that. Understand how to package that. That way your headshots are competitive. They stand out. They're you. Your reels, your clips, whatever it is you have. And if you don't have a reel and you don't have filmed footage, that's okay. Let's get some solid self-tapes that show the industry who you are, right? You got to be doing your work. You got to meet that agent halfway. So what are the sales tools? What clout do you have that you can share with them right now? Now, that's okay, Bernie. You're totally good. So it's about you doing the work of understanding self. If you're clear on self and all your materials, they go, oh, I get it. I get who Bernie is. Then you have a way better chance of getting your email opened and getting seen. Look, this is what I've been doing, Bernie, for a very long time. Again, is helping actors understand their brand and packaging it. Every actor who does that, does my headshot prep, does all those things, 98% of them end up signing with the agents or managers that they wanted. And usually when they do campaigns, they sign with multiple. They'll get their first manager and their commercial agent and a theatrical agent. Why? It's because they understand who they are and they know how to package that. And that is really what an agent wants. That's all a manager wants. They're not necessarily looking at your credits. Are some? Of course they are. But what they want to know is that you know who you are, where you are, and where you're going. That's what's sexy to them. That's confidence to them. So it's about building your product out so people go, oh, I get it. And then building a campaign to reach out to those agents in LA. And then I got a froggy in my throat. One sec, team. And Bernie, let me know if that makes sense. Jeff Bird. Hi, Jeff. We were just talking about you. Happy 4th. Nice to see you. Hi, Catherine. Bernie, let me know if you have any follow-up questions to that. But first and foremost, before anybody reaches out to any agent, I don't care what market you're in. Look, I've helped, like I said, I have an LA client who just got a UK agent. I have a client in Miami who got a Canadian agent. I have clients all over who booked agents in multiple markets. Every single one of them started with branding and packaging. Every single one. Because that's how you're going to stand out. So I just interviewed 2 agents and a manager for my rep panel. That's going to be part of my summit that I'm hosting in August called The Shortlist. Again, you can find it here on Actor Insider on Instagram. You can sign up now for the wait list. The event is completely free, but this rep panel was great. It was great because it's saying it was so much of let me see who you are. Because they were saying they can get upwards of 400 emails a day. And then actors are like looking for representation, and everyone sounds the same. Everyone looks the same. Everyone's saying the same things because they're trying to be professional, and they just get looked over. And they were like, we feel so bad that I can't read everything, but every single one of them had a story of that one person who had the subject line that piques their interest, which is something I definitely help my clients do in terms of pitch emails, right? Not being cutesy, not being clever, not I'm the greatest thing, you'll miss it if you don't open this email. Not that, but something really, really clever and compelling. And every single one of them had a story of, oh yeah, I opened that. And then I read everything and saw the materials and was like, oh, that's someone I want to meet. Right? That's what you want to do. Be someone that they want to meet. Okay, I got down a path. Hi Shannon. Nice to see you. All right, let me go back here to YouTube. Let's see. I don't know who your name is, but it says headshots. Curly versus non-curly. I look much younger with curls, but I'm not curly most of the time. I'd like to have both looks, but can't go from non-curly to curly in 30 minutes. 2 sessions? Oh, hi, Helen. 2 sessions, too much money, Helen. Oh, Helen. I understand, Helen. If you poured a bucket of water on my head right now, my hair would go curly. So my hair is very naturally curly. It was a packaging choice I made back in 2013. Oh my God, like 13 years ago now, to straighten my hair. I booked a film and the director was like, hey, would you actually straighten your hair for this? Because my hair was really curly. And at that time it was red. So it was red and curly. I was doing a ton of musical theater in New York City. And I booked this film and he was like, hey, would you straighten your hair? So I was like, I guess. Like I always embraced my curls and loved my curls. So I had a friend of mine blow my hair out and I was like, I don't recognize me. Like it was bananas. And then I did the film and I kept blowing it out. And then I remember walking into my agent's office at Abrams at the time. And I walked into my agent's office and she looked at me and she went, there you are. There you are. And I was like, oh. And I was like, why do you say that? She's like, well, now the package makes sense. For what, like I have a strong bone structure, right? I play a lot of women who are powerful, intelligent, blah, blah, right? The curly hair at that time of our industry, again, trends can shift and change, but the curly hair, it was more free spirit, bohemian, comic sidekick friend, right? And so there was a little bit of a disconnect between my energy and how I was choosing to package myself. And as soon as I straightened my hair, that all opened up for me and completely shifted. And I've been straightening it ever since. Again, when I'm on vacation, my hair's curly. If it gets too dirty, I'll wash it. My hair will be curly on the weekend. But typically, this is how I show up in the world and show up in the industry. And I get more bookings this way from me. So, Helen, one thing you said is you look younger with curls. So, is the goal to look younger or is the goal to be more you? What is more you? Right? What's going to be more you? What's going to make your essence shine through? So this is where you're going to do some market research, Helen, and you're going to look at people. I don't know if you're focused on TV, film, theater, whatever you're focused on, whatever medium it is, watch that medium. Watch the women in that medium in your age bracket. What do they look like? For example, I also have I have a commercial agent now, but my old commercial agent that I was with kept telling me to cut my hair. Now, look, I know that I have a lot of hair. I've been blessed with a lot of hair. Now, this is long for me. I need a haircut, but usually maybe it's an inch and a half shorter. They wanted me to cut my hair like, here, like shoulder length, which is fine. I could pull it off. But when I look at the women in TV and film who book the roles that I want to book, their hair is not shoulder length. Their hair is more like, again, where I need to get a cut to. So when I do the market research, I go, oh, that's what's selling for what I book in the marketplace now. So even though my commercial agent was like, if you cut your hair, you'll book more commercials. I was like, well, cool, but this is my main focus. And this is the packaging that works here. So this is the kind of market research that you get to do, Helen. So it's not about what makes you look younger or older or this or that. What is going to match your brand, match your essence, match your vibe to make people go, oh, I get it. I need to cast that. right? So let me know if you have a follow-up session to that. And look, oh yeah, Helen says, I remember you, Curly. I had the opposite story. My agent saw me with curls and said, wow, who's this? The goal is to look more me. I get submitted for older, but don't book because I don't look old enough. So you might just be in a weird age bracket thing. You know, it's like, even for me right now, Helen, I get seen sometimes late 30s, like late 30s to mid 40s. And then I get on breakdowns that are 50 to 60 because women's ages, especially in Hollywood, are so skewed. You know what I mean? Like if it's a role in the Midwest and it's someone who's 42, that's very different than 42 on the coasts. Do you know what I mean? It's just what it is. So you might be you might be growing into your sweet spot. That could be a thing. But I wouldn't, if your agent is saying, wow, this look makes sense, you're just going to age up into that. But right now you could just be the younger option. Like when my team submits me for 50 to 60, I have a little, moment. My ego has a moment, but I go, okay. And I even had a talk with my manager about it. And she's like, I'm just trying to get you all the opportunities. And you never know what they think that age looks like. And you could be the younger option. I'm like, cool. And casting agreed to see me. I got the audition, so it's not like it's out of the ballpark. So I hear you, Helen, but I wouldn't fight that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't fight it. If the curly hair is working, do it, lean into it, own it. If you want to straighten your hair and have a friend take a couple photos just so you have that, then have it. But know that you're going to have to go pay to get your hair blown out and just be willing to do it. Right? Like if my hair was curly and I had to be on set tomorrow, I'm not going to do that myself. I'm going to have to go pay to do it. And I'm okay with that. So you just got to know what your requirements are, stipulations are, what would be required of you if that happened. But what does she say? I get submitted for 55-70, but I can pull off maybe 50. Got it. So you know what? There's the other thing, 55-70. Even now, because women in their 40s are letting their hair go gray. Even my commercial agent, he called me up. He's like, are you gray? Do you have gray hair? And I was like, yes, Jake, I do have gray hair. Thanks for asking. I get it colored. And my mom went gray in her early 20s. So of course I've been coloring my hair. And he was like, well, would you be willing to let it go gray? I went, no, I would not. Not right now. Not right now. And he's like, well, I think you'd book more commercially. I was like, okay. And then he was like, well, I have some clients who have gray wigs. Maybe go get a gray wig. I was like, okay, I'll consider that. So, but it's just interesting. We got to pay attention to the trends. We just got to pay attention to the trends. So after he said that to me, I was watching some like commercials and even seeing print ads, and it was women with younger faces and gray hair. And I was like, isn't that interesting? That's what's selling right now. So it's, again, when we get to understand the trends and see the information and then decide, right? We get to decide. So for me, I'm deciding not to do that right now. Again, commercials aren't my main focus. So Helen, I love it that you're in a state of curiosity about all of this. So I just say, stay there, see what's booking. But it does sound like your team is in agreement on the curly hair. It just sounds like you need to jump on board. And maybe it's just something in your head thinking, maybe it's the age thing that's holding you back, that you're caught up on, oh, I look younger, so I'm not going to book. But again, you never know what's in a producer's mind, a writer's mind, a casting director's mind, whatever, when they say 60 years old. That looks like a million different things, Let me know if you have any follow-ups from that, Helen, but that was a great question. Shannon, currently experiencing all this with my beard. Yes, I had a client this week. He's getting new headshots and he was like, should I color in my beard? I was like, yes. And then you get to decide, but do I show up like that all the time? And what do I want to do? But yeah, men in their beard, it's definitely a thing. Especially if it's just a gray patch or something, right? Like, how does that function for you? So it's important to, again, do that market research and look around. If you want to be booking TV or film, what are the men in your age bracket, or what are the roles that you want to be booking? What do they look like now in the market now, in the trends that are happening now? All right, let me scroll back because I think I missed something. Hi, Delua. Your hair looks great this way. Thank you. Maximus says curly is great. Right? Everyone has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. Okay, Bernie, I guess I thought I knew my brand, but I've only submitted to one LA agent so far and one SF agent, but no luck yet. So that's the thing. I think I'll say this, Bernie. I think a lot of people go, "Oh, I know my brand. I'm Dr. Lawyer CEO." Or I know my brand, I'm girl next door. Or I know my brand, I'm guy down on his luck. Okay, those aren't brands. Those are roles. Those are types. Type is a part of brand, but type is the tip of the iceberg. Because guess what? So many people watching could be the guy down on his luck, could be the girl next door, could be the mom, could be the business professional. Again, that's not a brand, that's a role. So you got to go deeper. You got to understand the stories that you tell better than anybody else. You got to understand the themes to the stories that you want to be telling. You got to understand how you are perceived, how you show up, that essence, that vibe, all that I'm talking about, because that infiltrates and dictates the roles that you will play. That will be your version of mom, your version of guy down on his luck, your version of business professional. I think a lot of actors understand very surface level what they do, and they think about it in terms of roles or celebrities as opposed to what's in them. I always think of it, the analogy I usually give when I talk about branding is looking at branding like an iceberg. So when an iceberg is in the middle of the ocean, we only see the tip, and the tip is your type, right? The tip is all those things I was talking about. But the whole iceberg underneath the water, that's the giant, gorgeous iceberg, right? So you get to be the iceberg under the water. What is that? So many actors don't know what that is. But it's why we pay money to go to the movies to see these celebs, because we know what we're going to get, because we see their berg of the iceberg. We see what's underneath the water. So Bernie, for you, it's unmining what that is and not being afraid to share it and show it and then package it. If you need help with that, that's exactly what I do with actors. Sorry, I had my Facebook open on this other computer, so I'm just opening it again. That's exactly what I do with my clients. I have a whole branding system that I've been teaching for years. Oh, I'll tell you this, Bernie. I almost forgot because it's July 3rd. From July 1st through 5th, I launched a new Actor Insider shop. In that shop is actually my branding course, Bernie, and everything is 40% off through July 5th. Coaching sessions with me, my branding course. I have pitch emails in there, how to nail your agent interview. What else do I have? Oh, I have my whole summit from last year in there that you can purchase and watch. So everything is 40% off. Like things start at $10. Okay. So I would go in there, Bernie, and see. So it's actor-insider.com/shop. Oh, you'll see shop in my nav bar. But if this is something you want to do, that's what my branding system will do for you, is help you. So, I mean, look, you've only sent out 2 emails, right? Going after an agent is a numbers game. So the numbers aren't in your favor right now, right? So you've only sent out 2. But also that you've heard nothing is feedback. So, you want to get a little bit more specific in the emails that you are sending. All right, let me see what I've gotten here. Hi, Laura. How are you? And I think I missed a question from Emmanuel, so I'll have to go back to YouTube. Okay. Hi, Laura. Laura says, hi from London. I'm wondering about my age range and energy. I am young, soft voice, hippie-ish, but then can play strong Northern English, which can be stronger. Age 30 to 45, but not sure. Lines on eyes. I love it. I love it. I'm going to use that my sign off. Lines on eyes. The wisdom lines that we have. Okay. So, I mean, it's hard for me to fully answer this without knowing you, right? But what I'm going to intuit from what you said is you're young, you have a soft voice, hippie-ish, right? And that's like a one thing. And then you have you can be play strong with a Northern English accent, which feels a little bit more powerful, strong strength, where this feels a little softer, hippie, relaxed, right? So what I'm intuiting from your question is like, I have these 2 things, right? 2 sides of a coin. What do I do? This happens a lot with actors who come to me for branding. They go, well, Jody, I'm this and I'm this. We got to figure out the through line. There is a definitive through line. Again, I play a lot of powerful, ballsy, direct, could be cold, icy women. And then I play a lot of warm, vulnerable, like social worker women, moms really trying to help their kids, right? So I play both those things, but I know my through line. I know this what connects those, because again, those are two different roles. Those are roles. Those are roles in different scenarios. But what's underneath those roles? Right? What are the women, what are the stories that those women tell? What's the through line of that? So Laura, I think that's what you're missing, is you're looking at it as two disparate things. And that's how most people think of it. Think of branding as like, oh, I have to choose one. So I guess I'm a young, soft voice hippie and I'm going to go with that, right? We think we just have to choose one thing. But what we got to remember is, as an artist and an actor, you are a three-dimensional human being, right? No one's asking you to leave two dimensions off to one side and just be one thing. That is not interesting. And that's not how humans function or work. So it's understanding the three dimensions of who you are, understanding how they're connected, and knowing when to pump up one over the other over the other. So what you're missing right now is what I call the glue that holds your brand together, and that's your branding themes. And once you understand your branding themes, it really helps you get clearer on the what do I want to say? Well, no, clearer on the stories that you tell, how you show up, and how you are different from another actor who might have a soft voice and hippie and be strong. Because right, because you see that that's not a brand, right? So we need to really identify what the brand is, not what the roles are. But just so you know, I have a lot of clients who are like, I have this and this, and it's like, oh, but we can connect it. And when they see the connection, it's like, oh, it makes so much sense. And then they can step into their headshots with more power. Then they can look at their reel and have a better eye on what clips to lead with. What do they want to put first? What do they put first? What are they leaning into? So, but all of that comes down to finding the through line on this, Laura. So yeah, let me know if you have any follow-up questions. And I just will say again, everything in my shop is 40% off right now. So I really invite you to take advantage of that. Because if this is something that's been holding you back, my branding course will help with that. It will really help with that. Okay, let's keep going. Bernie says, on my Facebook page. On my website, Bernie. So if you go to actor-insider.com and then click on shop, you'll see it. You'll see it. Hi, Raina. Oops. Let's see. Laura. Okay, great. Let me go here to YouTube. I'm just being cognizant of the time. So 10:43. So guys, I'm going to have to wrap like 5 minutes earlier today because I have a meeting with an investor for my movie. So I'm very excited. Okay, let me go here. Emmanuel had something. Okay, Emmanuel, let me just take a sip of tea. Do you think the push for diversity or more inclusive casting and better representation for historically underrepresented groups has put certain demographics at a disadvantage? Oh, that's interesting. I mean, first of all, I love the push for diversity and more inclusion. I think we need it as a culture, as a society, as a nation, as a world. We are diverse, and to limit what we see on film and television to certain demographics, which has been the case for a long time, is just not representative of the world that we live in. So I do think there has been a push for that. I still think we have ways to go for that as well. Has it put certain demographics at a disadvantage? Yeah, I think so. I think, again, I think it's put white men and white women at a disadvantage. And that's okay. I'm okay with that, right? I think it's important for films and TV to have as much, and theater, to have as much diversity as they can, because that's a true representation. And, God, I just remember I watched this video on Instagram. It was like a reel on Instagram. And it was watching this little Black girl watch The Little Mermaid, the live action Little Mermaid. And it was watching her, it's going to make me cry just thinking about it, like watching her watch Ariel, and was like, oh my God. It's like the joy in her face, and was just like, she looks like me, And I think that is so important, because I believe art heals. That's why I'm Produce and Write, is I want to unite and heal. I want people to see themselves on screen. And for my current project, that's people who have, gone through grief and caregiving with their parents, and the people that have went to the table read that Jeff was a part of, and people have read the script, they go, "Oh my God, that's who I am," or that I understand this, or I see myself in this, or I experience this. Oh my God, right? Like that's what I want film and TV to do, is have people go, "Oh my God, I see myself in that." Right. And I think that's what we're allowing people to experience by having more diversity and inclusion. And does the pendulum need to swing way further in one direction until we find a way to center? Yeah, of course. So that does that mean someone will be at a disadvantage? Of course. And that's just the way of things right now. And that's okay. Laura says it's a beautiful clip. Isn't it beautiful? Oh my God. Like, I don't know why that I hadn't thought about that forever. And as soon as I read that question, that popped in my head. Thank you for asking that, Emmanuel. Again, you always ask the really deep questions, and I appreciate it. All right, where are we at? We got a few more minutes here. Who else has a question? I'm just going to see if I missed anything. All right, so a couple things just to again say for those of you. I know we've been talking a lot today. We've had some deep conversations about branding, packaging, agents, owning who you are, not playing the victim. So again, I'm going to urge you to go to actor-insider/shop. 40% off everything. I have a mindset course that's 40% off. My branding course is 40% off. I have, again, pitch templates that are actual pitch emails that have worked to get my clients, agents, and myself, managers and agents. There's a lot of stuff in there. So I invite you to go check that out and take advantage of that through July 5th. If you have any questions, you can DM me or email me. And then the other thing is we get the short list, right? My big summit that's coming up in August. So I invite you to get on the wait list for that. Again, 18 industry guests. I got some huge heavy hitters that I can't wait for you to hear from. I'm recording my producer panel on Monday. So excited for you to meet these people. All right. Bernie says, as a person of color, hallelujah to diversity. Yes. I love it. I love it. All right. What else do we got? We got about 5 more minutes here. What other questions do we have? Hi, Amber. Hi, Joshua. He says, hi, Jody. Do you have any advice for a 20 to 25-year-old Black males seeking to appeal to the current industry trend for our demographic? I'm submitting to agencies, but I'm not sure what the industry wants. Okay. Well, so this goes back to sort of my question is, have you been watching film and TV? What are they, where are you seeing people in your demographic and age range? Where do you see them booking? Where do we see the trends are? You know, I've had this conversation a lot with my Black female clients of hair, right? The trends in hairstyles, and what we're looking at, what we're seeing. Is it natural hair? Is it straight hair? Is it braids, right? We have those conversations a lot, and that comes up all the time when we're doing headshots, of course. So I would invite you to do some research of like, what do you see on screen now? What's booking now? What's happening now? Now, if you're submitting to agencies, you say, I'm not sure what the industry wants. So you can't guess what the agency wants. We don't know what holes they might have in their roster, what they're looking for, right? But you got to lean in to what makes you special. What's your niche, your brand, your voice, your POV, all of that. What do you bring to the table? So I think it is unmining maybe a little bit more of you, Joshua, as a kid. Like, look, it's not just going, oh, that's what's working right now, I'll be that, right? That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you got to see what's booking right now or see what's out there and go, cool, who am I? What are the stories I tell? What are my strengths? And go, where do I fit in that now? Right? So we got to look at both sides of the coin. It's never just looking at the outside and trying to plug a square peg in a round hole. Is looking at the outside, but understanding self to go, where do I fit in this? And how do I pitch myself in this landscape? So yeah, Joshua, without chatting with you or seeing your materials, that's a little bit of a harder one to answer, but I think I would look at it from both sides, from the branding side of you, of what are those stories that you want to share and put out in the world? What's the legacy that you want to leave as an artist, right? What's that branding where you walk into a room and people go, oh, I get it. I see who you are. I know who you are, because that comes off of you, right? And then again, the flip side, that's one piece. And the second piece is understanding the trends in the marketplace right now. I think there's a lot of stuff for you right now. Oh my God, one of the agents on my agent panel was like, "I'm looking for Asian men in their 20s." And I was like, "Well, as soon as you said that, your inbox is now filled with 50 emails." Right? People are always looking for they're looking for things. So there's work for you for sure. I just want you to have clarity of self and not just trying to fit a mold, right? And that's the biggest thing that I experience with a lot of my clients of diversity is breaking out of those stereotypes and not just getting seen for Black roles, Latino roles, queer roles, right? But being able to break out of that and going, yes, I can do those things, but these are also the stories that I tell. And you want to have an agent that is going to be submitting you for all the roles, not just Black roles, right? Does that make sense? Let me know if you have a follow up to that. Okay. Okay. So let me know if that makes sense, Joshua. Let me look over here. Excuse me. The game of crypto says, still think it's important to live in California, Georgia, or New York to be an actor. That's a great question. It's like I said, I have clients in Kansas, San Francisco, Canada, Miami, Rhode Island, Boston, Texas, that have agents in the major markets but live elsewhere. I do think that we have more flexibility now as artists than we ever have because of self-tapes. Again, at the top of this call, we were villainizing self-tapes or villainizing casting directors with self-tapes. But at the end of this call, it's like, well, but you could live anywhere you want. But you got to understand, you got to come from what are your goals? So for example, I do have a Southeast agent, right? But we've agreed that she's not going to submit me for anything unless it's recurring, or guest star, top of show guest star, or film, right? Because if it's film, that takes longer to do. I can fly out there. If it's TV, the TV moves so fast, right? So for a co-star, if I do that, do I need to be there for a fitting? And then I'm paying, my flight is basically going to cover what I got paid, or you know what I'm saying? So I mean, if it was network, it'd be more, but you know what I mean? So I've worked it out with her that, okay, so TV, maybe not my focus so much there, but the film is, or higher level, television. So if like commercial is your focus and you really want to be doing commercials, well, it's going to be harder to do commercials if you live in Wisconsin, than in the major markets, right? Because again, the commercials move so fast. Like I just had an audition this week and it said it shot like this coming Wednesday or something, that you had to be at the fitting on Wednesday. We shoot on Thursday. So again, or how does your schedule work? Do you have that flexibility to go to get on a plane like that and fly? So it depends on your goals, number one, of the market to be in. But again, if TV is your goal and you're in the co-star world, it's tough not to be in a major market for that, right? Yeah, I mean, look, if you live, say you lived in, I don't know why Texas in my head, you lived in Texas, but you can get to Georgia quickly. Okay, then maybe, or you're in Boston and you can get to New York on the train in 3 hours. Okay, 3.5 hours. Like you can make that work. But I guess again, it goes back to what are your goals and how does that medium function and work? Does that make sense? So there's a couple of different layers in there. Again, I have clients everywhere. I've had clients, yeah, whatever. They make it work. If they book something, they go, well, I'm going to fly back to LA. Like I left LA, I still have my agent there. I get something, I'm going to fly back, and they're okay with that. So you just got to know that there's things you got to decide to be okay with. Yeah. I hope that answers your question. All right. What is your opinion about doing UGC work? Why am I missing what UGC work is? Why am I not recognizing that acronym? Can you tell me what that is, Bernie? I don't know what that is. But I might not be able to answer that question right now because it is 10:55 and I do have to be on this investor call in 5 minutes and I need like a couple minutes to prepare my brain. So, user generated content. Thank you, Shannon. I don't Mm, I'd have to see what that would look like. Mm, I can't fully answer that question right now. To build more clips, I would rather you do some really solid self tapes in front of your self tape setup and use that until you get something really good. That would be my opinion. Because number one, especially if you're submitting to an agent, then they would get to really see your self tape setup, see the quality of what you're going to be submitting for auditions. So if it's for agents, that's what I would recommend. All right. Well, team, I gotta go. I gotta run. I can't be late for my meeting. So great to be with you here. Please go to my website, actor-insider.com. The shop is 40% off through July 5th. Sign up for my free summit coming up in August as well. And also DM me or email me with any questions that you do have. All right. I will see you later. Bye, Instagram. Let me see. Bye, Facebook. And whoops, I can never figure out how to log off of YouTube. There we go. Bye, YouTube.